Farfus in just a matter of seconds' time. And Robert just a little bit ragged there, wasn't he, as he took a little bit of grass from just over the curb. He knows that Farfus is coming. Matter of when or if, and head through the final turn, and now across the timing line. Here comes Robert Wickens, and in hot pursuit, just 6/10 behind, is Augusto Farfus to turn one. That big uphill section into turn one, the right-hander. Now this long drag all the way towards turn two. The Remus turn, and Farfus really is reeling him in now. You can see the DRS was deployed. As soon as he hits the brake pedal, the rear wing flips back up again.
Yeah, starting to apply the pressure. Augusto Farfus, 3 wins for the Brazilian last season, en route to second place in the championship behind Mike Rockenfeller. But no wins at all so far this season. He's down in 13th place in the championship. His best result has been a 5th place finish. So the Team RBM man will be absolutely desperate for a win. This is the start of the second half of the season, and anything is still possible the way the points work and the way not many drivers have been able to put consistent results together so far this season. So 1 or 2 wins and suddenly you're back in the championship hunt.
Well, it's remarkable that, you know, when you look at the points table, and Augusto Farfus is down at P13 in the points at the moment.
Yeah.
You would have never said that on the form of last season, but, well, everything is very, very close here in the DTM, as you have indicated. Around the final turn once again. There's Robert Wickens then, who leads. It was 6/10 the last time across the timing line. It is now 4/10 as another couple have gone the way of Augusto Farfus, as he just slowly ekes out the margin that Robert Wickens had. Now this is where the DRS will be deployed, I would think, around the kink up towards that top. You can see the rear wing has gone down. Augusto Farfus dives to the outside of Robert Wickens. Now Robert needs a perfect exit through here to defend the line. Farfus won't have the grunt, I wouldn't think, to get him on the switchback and up the inside. He didn't, but now this is a fast section of the circuit, so we're beginning to go downhill as well.
I'll keep an eye on Timo Glock and Pascal Wehrlein, 3rd and 4th as well. They were a couple of tenths quicker than the top 2 last time around. So the gap's starting to close up from first, not just to second, but from 1st to 4th positions.
So still at the moment, Robert Wickens is able to defend that position, but Augusto Farfus, coolly, calmly and collectively, is looking at every opportunity now and harrying Robert Wickens ahead of him. It's Mercedes versus BMW here at the Red Bull Ring in the early stages of this DTM race in Austria. There, the free man's liveried Robert Wickens car. Jamie Green. There's Timo Scheider. Here they come, crossing the start-finish line again. And Augusto Farfus now takes another 10th away from Robert Wickens. So just, as I've said, quietly, calmly, he's doing the business, isn't he? And it's here where he will have a go.
As close as he's ever been. This is his chance, but Robert Wickens, I'm sure, will hold the race in line and make the Brazilian try and go around the outside into Remus. Closes up, but he needs to be even closer, doesn't he, coming out of the first turn?
For a yellow flag in the next turn that they're going to approach, turn 3. For this reason, Antonio Felix da Costa, the BMW Team M-Tech driver, up against the barriers there. And he's out of the car. That's da Costa's race over with. Now, I would have said where that car is, unless it can be snatched away very quickly, Chris.
Are we thinking about a safety car? No. Was it a moment or was it a technical failure? Technical. I thought so. The way it pulled over where it was. Yeah, it's had a technical problem with that car. So, yeah, BMW pulled across, and Antonio Felix da Costa, the young 22-year-old Portuguese driver, started the season with some really quick performances at Hockenheim. Made a mistake at Hockenheim in the race, but he was mightily quick and could well have finished on the podium. But out of the race, bit of a disappointing weekend for him. The top 2 then go through. getting closer and closer to the pit window as well. The mandatory one stop that they have to make in the middle third of the race, which today is between laps 16 and 31. That's when the pit stop window will be open for the mandatory stops, and then everybody's changed tyres as here comes Augusto Farfus once again, closer than he's been now, almost alongside the rear wing of Robert Wickens. Robert covers the inside line, runs a little bit wide coming out of the corner. Augusto Farfus tries to get his foot in the door here, but Wickens covers off the line, Dave.
He is having to defend so very hard from Augusto Farfus. The whole approach to that overtake attempt from our helicopter was absolutely fantastic, and we're continuing that right now as they go around the next turn, turn 3. There is Robert Wickens. Augusto Farfus doing absolutely everything he can to try and find a way past Robert Wickens. He dives up the inside. Not quite. He was committed, but he just didn't carry quite enough speed. But now he's going to try again. Wickens tries to close the door, but it's full of BMW. Farfus is going to do it. He runs Wickens out just a little bit wide, but Wickens is committed. He's not going to let him get away with it. This is brilliant stuff.
He's got the line as well for the next corner, Robert Wickens, the right-hander. Great stuff. He just gritted his teeth and hung on there. And despite the fact that BMW got its nose in front, he still leads. But look how much closer third and fourth have now become.
You called that just a few moments ago. You're absolutely right. They're going to be joining in this party in a moment. But Robert Wickens has got his rearview mirrors full of that Augusto Farfus car. Now, Farfus on the run up to Remus. For sure is going to try again. Up to turn 2. Timo Glock and Pascal Wehrlein pretty close behind as well. Here he goes. He looks to the outside again. Heavy braking from both of them. Farfus will go and try the switch back now to try and get up alongside Wickens, but Wickens once again closes the door.
It's not over yet, though. We've seen some audacious attempts into the left-handers, haven't we, on the previous lap from Augusto Farfus. Will he try something similar? Out of this turn, coming out of Reichkurve, the two left-handers coming up at Pirelli, the third gear corner, then downhill into the second left-hander, the Werthkurve, taken at fourth gear, about 115 kilometres an hour. Not quite as close this time, is he? So tucks in second place. Looking at the difference in lap times between those on the softer tyres and those on the standard tyres, looks like there's about 2 seconds a lap difference between them. We need to bear that in mind when, of course, they all switch tyres for the second half of the race, and invariably gaps are going to start to close. Those on the standard tyres are caught. Replay of this tremendous battle then, Dave.
Oh, it was absolutely phenomenal, and we got the build-up to it absolutely perfectly. That's where Farfus got right alongside Wickens, and Wickens said, oh, no, you don't. Look, he was even run out onto the grass at one point there, but absolutely kept his foot in. His resolve was stiffened like never before, and he remained absolutely committed to his line. And to be fair, through that commitment, he was able to hold off that challenge, wasn't he? Remarkable how he managed to do it, but he did it. And fair play to Robert Wickens for doing that. And still, he's under this immense pressure. Look at this.
Lots of warnings coming up for drivers failing to manage yellow flags, which is car number 15 has been given one such warning. That's Edo Matara. Number 19 has been given one such warning for yellow flags, which is Daniel Hunkadea. Number 24, which is Maxime Martin, has been given a similar warning as well. And Joey Hand, number 4 drivers.
Just look at this train of cars. The top 8 are within 5 seconds of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at it. Absolutely remarkable racing, isn't it? There is Timo Scheider, who's on the back of that train, if you like. And each and every one of them desperate to go further up the order. Christian Vitouris is the best driver, as you have said, on the standard tyre. And, well, he's 21 seconds down the road from the leader.
He is, but when he gets the softer tyres on, he's going to be going 2 seconds a lap quicker than everybody he's trying to catch. It's going to be a race of 2 halves, as we've seen all year long in DTM. So Vitouris, the leading driver, in 11th place on the standard tyre at the moment. Spengler in 12th, Hand in 13th. He's also on those tyres. And then you've got Danny Hunkadella, 14th. He's on the option tyre. And in 15th place is Maxime Martin, who is on the standard tyre, the 4th best driver on the standard tyres. So almost into that pit window opening now. After 16 laps, between 16 and 31 laps, they'll have to make a mandatory single pit stop.
We're on board with Timo Scheider, who has that long line ahead of him, and this is fantastic to bring it to you from the heli point of view, as we're advised that car number 22, Nico Muller, who was under investigation, gets a drive-through penalty. Also getting a drive-through penalty is car number 4, that of Joey Hand. So the race steward ruling with that rod of iron.
Yeah. Disappointing weekend for Nico Muller in his first season of the championship. In qualifying yesterday, he suffered a technical failure, an electrical problem, which took his power steering out, so he didn't get very far into qualifying. And now his race has been compromised with this visit to the pits, drive-through penalty.
They're coming through thick and fast now as well, because Danny Ucadella gets a drive-through penalty. So too does Maxime Martin, and they're coming up on the screen like a ticker tape now. Also getting one is car number 15, also getting a drive-through penalty, Edo Mortara. So there you are, have them all on screen as well. Just for the moment, Chris, the Wickens-Farfus battle has eased off a bit, because Wickens has eked out 6/10 over Augusto Farfus. We're at the back of that 8-car train, if you like, with Timo Scheider here, heading up towards that Remus turn. Here come those cars to serve their drive-through penalty. Doing it in unison, aren't they?
Yeah, and it was the yellow flag, of course, of Antonio Felix da Costa's stricken car, which is the one they all ignored, and of course they can see exactly what drivers are doing with all the data that's available to the stewards and the officials, and the lap times and the sector times, and they realised that these guys didn't slow down enough for the yellow flags, and as a result of that, they've all now compromised their races. That was Timo Scheider. He's been hunting down Martin Tomczyk here. So two of our former champions, Timo Scheider, the last man to win back-to-back titles. It's looking increasingly unlikely. Well, you never know that Mike Rockefeller's going to match the feat of Timo Scheider. Timo driving well here and starting to close the gap to Martin Tomczyk. This is the battle for 7th place.
Here, though, is the battle for 1st place. Robert Wickens, who last time around had 6/10 over Augusto Farfus. And this time around, Farfus has pulled another couple of tenths back out of Robert Wickens. And Timo Glock is now within sight as well. He's just 9 tenths down. So all of these cars are involved in this battle effectively, aren't they? Spread across just 4.3 seconds, the top 8 here. And we're on the back of that with Timo Scheider at the moment. Great to see those cars running up to the Remus turn. It looks like Farfus is closer than ever before to Robert Wickens, just as we were looking from that onboard shot. Also taken a drive through there, Nico Muller.
Looking at those on the standard tyres as well, Dave, Vitoris in 11th place. He's only just 0.8 of a second clear of Bruno Spengler. So the Mercedes just fending off the BMW at the moment. And that could be important when we move into the second half of the race. Pit window now open.
So once again on board with Timo Scheider. It's Wickens, there you see him, Farfus, then it's Timo Glock. The three-man's liveried car of Robert Wickens remains in the lead, 4/10 margin over Augusto Farfus last time over the timing line. So, as you've said, Chris, with the pit window open now. Wickens, Farfus, Glock. Wehrlein, great showing from Wehrlein. Then there's a little bit of a gap back, isn't there, before we get Green, Wittmann, Tomczyk and Timo Scheider. Farfus now, again, just turns the wick up a little bit more on Robert Wickens.
Marco Wittmann doing a good job to hang on here, because the championship leader is carrying more weight than anybody else, more success ballast. His car is 7.5 kilograms heavier than some of the cars around him, so doesn't sound a lot, but when you consider that the top 6 in qualifying yesterday were covered by less than 1/10 of a second, every thousandth, every hundredth that you can gain matters, and that extra weight that he carries out of the corners, and of course under braking, will have an effect on the BMW as a result of the success of him and the team in recent races.
Now Timo Glock is right on to Augusto Farfus, and Pascal Wehrlein is taking advantage of that as well. Here is Scheider at the back of that train. The top 8 now, just 4.2 spreads across all 8 of them. Or somebody runs off into the dust there. Might have been Jamie Green, might have been Marco Wittmann. There from our heli, you can see the race leader, Robert Wickens. There's Augusto Farfus, who's now just gone back a little bit, because Timo Glock is even closer to him, but he dives in. I'm sure I saw Augusto Farfus dive in.
Let's have a look, we'll wait and see. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So the first front runner, the first person to come in and make their pit